What's going on, guys? My name is Matt, and this is my Bronco Tat Squatch. And Bill is not with us today. He is in Evansville, and I am not. So I noticed that I was lacking some power, and on the highway it just wasn't pushing like it normally was, and I got a check engine light. Then I realized of all the modification that I've done, and well, that I've done, I say Bill's done, but I've helped. But all the modification that's been done, I have not cleaned the air filter on the Roush cold air intake that I installed about a year or so ago. So after a little inspection, it is really dirty, so I thought maybe we would walk through and show you how to clean and oil a filter. So we'll give that a shot. So what we're going to be using is the K&N recharge kit. It's I picked it up at O'Reilly Auto Parts. It has the cleaner and the filter oil. So you need to wash the filter, let it dry completely, and then oil the filter. So we're going to get up, take a look at the air filter, and it's pretty dirty. So this is the Roush Performance cold air intake. So what we're going to do, we're going to remove the 4 bolts, the T30, Torx 30, and I highly recommend doing it by hand, because when I installed this I dropped one in the engine bay and it was not fun. So by all means avoid dropping the screw in the engine bay. You'll have a bad day if you do. Now this piece separates just like the factory one does. It's just held on by some little clips. It should pop right off. And here is our horribly dirty filter. Will be this just pulls straight off. Can't do it with one hand, so I'm going to stop this and get this taken off. We've got all kinds of junk in there, and but luckily the inside doesn't look bad. It looks pretty good. It's time for a clean. I have the K&N cleaner. So what we're going to do is spray down the entire everything with the cleaner. We're going to give it about 10 minutes to soak. You pretty much want to saturate it. There is a lot of bugs and buildup in this, so this is probably going to have to go a couple different times. I'm going to put the cleaner on first before I use water. But then we're probably going to do this at least a couple times. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to rinse out the filter. Oh yeah, look at all that dirt. Alright, so I had just rinsed it out for the second time. Looks like I got it pretty good. So now we wait for it to dry. You want to set it out in the sun and make sure it is completely thoroughly dry before the oiling process. Now keep in mind, you are going to need 2 or 3 hours before you start this. I was not aware of that at first until I did some research, and it's not something that you can just do in 10-15 minutes. So make sure you have plenty of time, and make sure you go ahead and have one of these K&N recharge kits or whatever brand you choose. But go ahead and have that before you start the process. That'll make life a lot easier. While that's drying, I think I'm going to move on to a cabin air filter that I went ahead and picked up when I picked up the recharge kit. So we'll see how that goes. I'll start that process here in just a minute. Alright, so what you're going to want to do, clean out your glove box. Of course you can see mine needs it in more than one way. You can see I actually use the Bronco. It gets pretty dusty in here at times, and I'm pretty certain that this cabin air cleaner, or air filter I should say, is pretty dirty because it has not been changed since I purchased the Bronco. Now, there's a couple clips in here. You push those in, you can drop this glove box, and right up under here you'll see a couple tabs that I'm not going to be able to get to with one hand. I might be able to prop the camera up, but this little panel here with the tabs, you release those tabs and pull the cover off. Okay, so this tab slides in and this tab squeezes, and it opens up to the compartment for the cabin air filter. You want to pull that out, and yeah, I'd say it's due. That's pretty gross. I'm surprised my AC is even working, but yeah, so we're going to get the new one and get it put in. Alright, so here's the new one. This has airflow with the arrows, and I'm assuming that you're wanting those to go up. But we'll just replace that into that compartment. Easy enough. And this one slides into the slot. And that snaps straight back on. And you can, while I have this open, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. So I will be back. Alright, so the glove box is cleaned up. And where we dropped, by pushing the two latches, you just push it back up. There is a little slider here that goes into a thing that keeps the glove box from slamming down. That just slides straight in. It's pretty self-explanatory. But there's your cabin air cleaner. That was super easy. And wish the other one was as easy as this. I guess it would have been if I just bought a new air cleaner. But that defeats the purpose of having one that you can wash out and reuse. Over time, I think it'll really save a lot of money. I would really recommend having two, so you could have one ready to go. You could have it, put it in and go, and then take the other one out when you have 2 or 3 hours to go through this whole process. Unfortunately, I couldn't find one locally that I could buy and just do it on my free time, which I have very little of. But so that's what we're doing now. We're gonna take the time, get this one done, and then I'll order another, have it on hand, so when this one gets dirty, I can swap it straight out. All right, so we've had this sitting out in the sun for a while. It seems to be pretty dry. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna take our filter oil and we're going to do one light coat. You don't want to get too heavy. And now we're going to want to let this dry, and then we're going to apply another coat after that's dry. All right, so we've let this wick for about 20 minutes. We're going to hit it with another light coat, just all the way around. And we're going to let this dry. You can wipe off the excess oil that gets on the plastic. Once again, this is the first time I'm doing this, so if I make any mistakes or if anybody has a better way to do it, please leave it in the comments below. It's the first time for everything, so I'm giving it a shot and taking you along with me. Alright, so we've let this dry out in the 90-degree sun for quite some time, so it looks like it's good and dry. I've already cleaned up the cover, and I've inserted the gasket, which I'll kind of have to finagle that in a little bit as I put it in to make sure it stays. But what we'll do now, we will reinsert the filter into the filter box, and then we'll put the top back on. According to K&N, after oiling, then to hit the second time with any missed spots, and they recommend 20 minutes for the wicking of the oil. So I left it a little bit more just to make sure, but we will get this back in and see how it does. Alright, so the filter is back in the box. We'll be putting the cover on. Just make sure that you have your gaskets lined up and do not drop those screws down in the engine bay. together. It's clean, and hopefully I have more airflow and it'll take care of that check engine light. I'm hoping. But it wasn't very difficult at all. Pretty simple, just time consuming. So, you know, I would recommend that you have plenty of time if you're going to do this, and also just get another K&N filter, have it to where you can swap it out and then clean and oil it, you know, in your spare time. But this should wrap it up, and my Instagram is tattoomat71 or tat_squatch. And next time we'll probably be back at Eville Truck Garage with Bill. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time.